What's going on, you guys? Today I'm just going to make a little short video about what certain things you should take on the trail with you before you go wheeling for a weekend or day. So without further ado, okay, so the first thing that I want to talk about is recovery. So one of the biggest things that I always carry with me are some sort of strap, chain, and D-rings. I usually carry these big thick D-rings because they really help with any sort of recovery points that are on other people's vehicles for my straps. I also carry a chain with me. Another thing is whether I can just hook onto something real quick and just pull me out, that's good too. Second thing I'd like to talk about is tools. Always want to carry tools with you. I just have this little 200 piece tool set, but I also carry a little bag of wrenches, vice grips, zip ties, and bungee cords. They're just really handy to have just in any quick fix to get off the trail. Bungee cord and zip ties are awesome. Any kind of tools, wrenches, anything you really bring with you, I would. Also, when it also comes to tools, some sort of jack to lift your vehicle if you have to work on it. If something breaks, jack's always really handy to have. The next thing I want to talk about is communication. So when it comes down to communication, whether you're wheeling with friends or, just anyone in general, you could be wheeling with you and a buddy or you and 4, 5, 10, 12 other people. Communication is always key. You guys always want to stay on the same channel. That way, so everybody can hear what trail's coming up, what trail we're going to take next. Somebody broke down. It's just really good to have some sort of communication. I know there's other channels that people just do strictly off-roading videos and they have huge CB radios, but a little walkie-talkie like this is great to have. Also, some sort of spare parts. I always carry some sort of either like tie rod, suspension parts, or just really anything. So I always try to carry a belt with me just in case mine shreds a belt when I'm out on the trails. I could just pull over, pop the hood, change the belt, and I'm on my way again. Keep riding trails or whatever, I can get home with it. The next thing is some sort of air compressor or some sort of air tool to air up your tires just in case you air down. You don't have to air down. I prefer it because of the trails and stuff that I take. So these are just a few of the little things that I like to carry with me when I'm off-roading. Next thing is what you should have in your vehicle. Obviously, when it comes to if you want to bomb around on the trails, you want ride height. You don't want to get hung up. Your frame don't want to get hung up because then it is a nightmare to get unstuck, especially if you're hung up on your frame. If you're high centered, it sucks. So I have on my Chevy here, I don't do massive, huge rock crawling to the point to where I need 40s and, straight axle front ends and stuff, but I just do the basics. I trail ride, I have fun, play in the mud, but I still needed that ride height and that ground clearance. So I have a 2.5 inch lift or leveling kit in the front, and I have I think it's a 1.5 inch block in the rear, and I have this set up on 33 inch tires. So that gives me enough ground clearance from how this thing sat when it was stock, which was honestly really low. So I got my ground clearance, and some sort of knobby good tire is something that you're also going to want to have. I run my Milestar Patagonias. Love the tire. It's all based on preference of what you like. Love these tires, especially I can air them down to at least 20 psi. I can climb over rocks and any obstacle that I need to climb over. Another thing you should talk about on your vehicle is recovery points. We talked about recovery, straps, chains, and stuff. I like to have as many recovery points on my vehicle as possible. I try to keep them at all angles, but on this vehicle I couldn't. My Chevy comes with 2 tow hooks in the front, so I already have a couple points here that if I need to be towed out of a situation, I can on the front. Also, I have a 8,000 pound winch on the front of my truck, which helps me if I'm wheeling alone get me out of a situation. Or if I'm wheeling with friends and I don't want them to try to ease their way into a situation if our strap isn't long enough. So I got my winch. On the back, I just have a little D-ring on my open end hitch. So I just have this. So I have a whole at least 180 degrees of recovery. So I could be pulled this way, it could be pulled that way, it could be pulled straight back, if that's the situation. So we've covered ground clearance, we've covered recovery points on your vehicle. You'll also want to have an easy access to your tools, to your straps, just in case you're in a mud hole and, you know, you gotta try to climb into the back of your vehicle to get it or whatever. I have a little DZ toolbox mount, which is mounted on the side of my truck here. Just show you. Just this little guy here, which that's where I keep my straps, my tools. It carries everything that I feel like I need to have a good time and make sure that I'm not gonna get stuck in a jam. Next thing is fluids. Just in case something happens, say you blow a line, you have to pinch it off, and like say you blow a rubber brake hose or something. You can crump it off with vice grips, tie it up, fill up your master cylinder, and cruising down the road. Same thing with power steering, crimp it off, fill it up, you know, whatever, cut off your power steering, you gotta tie it up somehow. Either way, you're gonna want extra fluids, oil, whatever. Always carry that with you. Off-road lighting, that's another thing I want to talk about. You're stuck at night. I just like to have my light bar or my other light bar on me at all times. Obviously, they're affixed to the truck. They're probably not going to come off for a long time. But say you're wheeling at night, something happens, God forbid, one of your friends break down and you're out in the trail, you're stuck for a really long time. These off-road lights are great to see at night. I've never had an issue with seeing because all my off-road vehicles, I've always had some sort of LED light bar or heavy off-road lighting. Protection is another thing. I don't have much on my vehicle, but like some people go out and they're fully dressed with exoskeletons and all this and that to protect the body and to protect themselves. I just have these little taillight guards. They help if I accidentally back into something or somebody comes out of a hole too fast and hits me in the taillight. At least I know that my taillight will be safe. And this isn't some chintzy like steel. This is all really heavy quality steel. I move my whole truck with it, so it's good. It's got good mounting points. I made sure of it because if I get hit, I want that shit to bend and not hit my taillight. So other than that, I think I'll end the video here. There is a couple other points. Pretty much just basic knowledge. Know what you're getting into. Know your vehicle's limits. Do not push your vehicle beyond its limits. Sometimes it might amaze you, and cool, you got away with it. Know your limits when you're off-roading. Believe me, I have gotten to some very, very bad situations when it comes to off-roading and thinking that I'm on top of the world, I have the best vehicle, I have the best knowledge, and I can go wherever I want. Until you're hung up on your frame and you went by yourself and you were cocky and you got hung up on your frame, and now you have to call and wait for a couple hours for your buddy to come help you out, jack you up, and get you off of whatever you're on or stuck in whatever hole you want. Please know your limits. There's not a lot of people that cover this topic, but know your vehicle's limits and know your knowledge. If you don't have a spotter, don't climb rocks. If you don't have the right ground clearance or the right tires, don't go through the giant mud hole. Please, people, know your limits when it comes. I have learned this. I am sure other people have learned this. You can't always push it over the top. If you do, you made it through, awesome. Good for you. That's cool. It's an awesome story. Don't try for round 2 because I've been there too. But, all right, guys, I'll talk to you later. I'll see you guys in the next video.